Sir, namaste. Sir, physics itself is a difficult subject, but in our Shastras, means this Darshanas, in Darshanas, specifically in Vaisheshika Darshana, you write a book on physics, the physics of Vaisheshika Darshanas. So, please explain what theories is available in Vaisheshika Darshanas and how you will compare, comparison is happened in Vaisheshika Darshanas. Please explain it, sir.
As we have already finished the overview of the Vaisheshika physics, how the physical principles of classical physics and some parts of the modern physics have been incorporated into the Vaisheshika Sutras of Kannada, we will now look into the specifics. The first definition of dharma, adhato dharma vyakhyasya is the first sutra of the Vaisheshika Darshana, first chapter, first section. Now we shall discuss dharma. Yato abhyudaya nishreyasa siddhi sadharma. What is dharma? Dharma is that from which we can acquire or achieve progress, abhyudaya, as well as nishreyasa or liberation or freedom, highest good. So normally in the Western science and technology, we are familiar with the progress achieved through science and technology. Technology is nothing but the application of science. The progress of science and technology, their applications including in telecommunications or in transportation or in nuclear power or any other field, we have now reached a stage where we are on the verge of a collapse. The collapse could be a third world war, or the collapse could be an atomic war, or the collapse could be environmental collapse. So much so that our friend Elon Musk declared that Earth has become uninhabitable and we may have to migrate to Mars. For that purpose, he has organized a shuttle to carry people from Earth to Mars. He is trying to finish the economic design and feasibility of such a shuttle. It is amazing how within 300 years of modern science, we have reached a stage where Earth has become uninhabitable and calling for migration outside Earth to Mars or Moon. In fact, some people have purchased plots on Moon for constructing house. So this is the extent of the deviation we have gone into. Whereas for human existence of society of at least 1 lakh years, because human being has existed not less than 100,000 years, there was no such crisis of existential nature. We have existed and we can continue to exist. So this itself is a proof why the modern science and technology has gone in the wrong direction, because it has not understood nishreyasa, the highest good, or liberation. It has focused only on abhyudaya, progress, material progress. So yato abhyudaya nishreyasa siddhi sadharma. Dharma is defined as that which is going to make you achieve both abhyudaya and nishreyasa. Third sutra is tadvachanad amnayasya pramanyam. Being the doctrine or being the statement, expression of dharma, amnaya, that is Veda, becomes a standard source of knowledge. What is the proof of the validity of Veda? Because it is proclaiming dharma. It is declaring and stating and expressing what is dharma. Tadvachanat amnayasya pramanyam. Now, having said this introductory comments, Kannada goes into the fourth sutra, where he is declaring how you are going to get moksha or liberation by the understanding of the nature, the physical form of nature, derived on dharma vishesha prasudat, dravya guna karma samanya vishesha samavayanam padardhanam sadharma vaidharmyabhyam tattvajnana nishreyasam. By understanding the tattvajnana, by deep understanding of the nature of matter, energy, space, time and other physical entities, their interactions and their properties like inherence and aggregation and classification, based on the specialized qualities of dharma, you can achieve freedom. That means it is not enough if you understand the structure of matter and the laws of physics, as we did in the context of modern science, but you also should understand their relationship with dharma, their relationship with Prakriti, and the relationship of self or Atman with the universe. Because the main distinction that comes between the Vaisheshika perspective and the modern science perspective is on the nature of the self. In the classical physics, there are only four fundamental entities: matter, energy, space and time. As we have discussed in the previous session, in the modern physics, matter and energy merge into one, as that which becomes matter or energy given by the equation E is equal to mc square, and space and time disappear as absolute entities because they don't have absolute existence. If an observer travels at velocity of light, his space is zero and time is zero, and if the observer is traveling at a velocity less than that of light, proportionately his time will dilate and his space will dilate. So this is special theory of relativity, and E is equal to mc square is the general theory of relativity expression. Both together show that space and time don't exist, only matter and energy exist, which are one and the same. They can be converted from one to the other depending on the observer's observation equipment of the experiment. It is possible to observe the same entity as matter or as energy. Like you can observe electrons as waves in electron diffraction experiments, or you can observe photons as particles in photoelectric effect, whereas same photons, which are nothing but light, they appear as waves in any diffraction experiment. So these identity of the matter and energy, or the non-existence of space and time in the ultimate sense, is as per the observer. So the observer becomes very crucial and critical, and that observer is nothing but the self. So self comprises of both self and mind. If the mind is not there, like the observer is sleeping, then nothing can be observed. So both mind and self have been recognized in the Vaisheshika Sutras as fundamental substances, as much as Prithvi, Apa, Vayute. All the other matter, energy, space-time as fundamental entities. So Prithvi, Apas, Tejo, Vayu, Akasha, Dik, Kala, Mana, Atma, Iti, Dravyani. These are the substances accepted in the Vaisheshika. Nine. Prithvi, Apas, Tejo, Vayu, Akasha, Dik, Kala, Mana, Atma, Iti, Dravyani. Atma and Manas are observer who has been accepted as fundamental physical substance as much as Prithvi, Vayu, Apa, and that is the most important point to be noted. That is the main difference between the modern science and the Vaisheshika. So that way, what has come out in quantum physics or modern physics as observer, which was missing in the classical physics, in the classical Newtonian physics, there was no mention of any observer. The reductionism of the modern science was devoid of the observer. It depends too much on the observation and observed phenomena themselves and not the observer. Whereas the relativity theory has proved that the observer is everything. Therefore, Vaisheshika's contention of observer being as fundamental reality as any substance is more than important and relevant in this context. So each of these dravyas has the properties, gunas, and even Atma has the linga, that proof of existence. All this as being, like for example, the karma, dravya guna karma. So karma are the motions, and they are not the karma or fate or providence or anything like that. They are motions. Utkshepanam, avakshepanam, akunchanam, prasaranam, gamanam. So upward, downward, contraction, transmission, broadcast, and general motion. General motion has been defined by Prashastapada as rechanam, spotanam, spandanam, and general gamanam. That is different types of motion, beats, etc., etc., and gamanam is general motion. So different types of motion have been discussed as in classical physics in the terminology of karma. Now what is sat? What is existence? Sat anityam, dravyat karyam karanam samanya vishesha vadati dravya guna karma aviseshaha. So existence comprises of dravya guna karma. And what is dravyam, what is karma, it has all been defined very thoroughly. And the impossibility of perpetual motion, which is a fundamental principle of law of conservation of energy and law of conservation of matter, both are discussed stated in the Vaisheshika Sutra, na dravyam karyam karanancha vadhati. Na dravyam karyam karanancha vadhati. That means matter can neither be created nor destroyed. And ubhayatha gunaha. And the impossibility of perpetual motion is given by karya virodhi karma. Karya virodhi karma. When a particular karma takes place, when a particular motion takes place, it will oppose the karya. So that means motion is the enemy of the opponent motion. That means there is no possibility of perpetual motion. And properties of substance. What is a substance? Kriya gunavat samavaya samavayi karanamiti dravya lakshanam. Dravya is defined as that which has gunas and which has kriyas, and it has a cause inherent in it. And similarly, what is a guna? Dravyasraya gunavat samyoga vibhageshu akaranam anapeksham iti guna lakshanam. And motion is ekadravyam agunam samyoga vibhageshu anapekshikaranam iti karma lakshanam. Motion can be only in one substance, one dravya at a time, and it is independent of conjunction or decomposition. Dravya guna karmanam dravyam karanam samanyam. So in dravya guna karma, dravya is the cause of any action, because without dravya you cannot have motion. So this way a very detailed analytical discussion has taken place in the first chapter, and the first law of motion of Newton is given in the 26th sutra of the first chapter. Asamavayat samanya karyam karma na vidyate. Asamavayat, due to not being inherent. Samavaya relationship is from Nyaya, inherence. Not being inherent, motion does not exist as generalized effect always. So this is the first law of motion, inertia, and the object will not move unless and until a force is applied. That is the first law. Samyoganam dravyam and rupanam rupam. Upward motion is gurutva prayojana samyogat ukshepanam. Ukshepanam, upward motion, is possible with the conjunction of gravity and its opposite force, effort, prayatna. Gurutva prayatna samyogat ukshepanam. Samyog vibhagacha karmanam. So this way the discussion goes, and the most fundamental principle, if we ask a question, what is the most fundamental principle of entire science? The bedrock of science is the causality principle. Karana bhavat karya bhava. Without karana there is no karya. And it is mentioned here for the first time in the world, and it has been put in the PhD thesis of my son in his Australia.
Oh, very great.
Natu karya bhavat karana bhava. Karana can exist without karya, but karya cannot exist without karana. Because in the adi karana, there is no karya yet. Srishti adi. And now the hierarchies of generalization and specialization, which we discussed previously. Samanyam vishesha iti buddhyapeksham. Bhavo anupratyereva hetutvat samanyameva. Dravyatvam, gunatvam, karmatvam cha samanyani visheshancha. Generalization and specialization. Class hierarchy, which I discussed last time. A tree hierarchy, which is used in computer science. Anyatra antyabhyo visheshebhya. Except for the leaf node. In the entire tree, all others are only abstractions. What is existence? Normally, nobody in the Western world will ask what is existence. But here he is asking that question and is defining what is existence. Saditi yato dravya guna karmasu sa satta. So it is existence from which the notion or perception that this is existence is generated from among the material substances, qualities and motions. Dravya guna karmebhyo ardhantaram satta. Aneka dravyatvena dravyatvam samanya vishesha bhavena cha. Now one existence. Finally, the entire existence is only one. Saditi linga visheshat vishesha linga bhavat cha eko bhavaha. So the notion or perception of existence exists also as one existence due to itself being a special indicator due to the absence of any special indicator. Existence exists independently as one due to its not being varying and also not being differentiable. Existence exists on its own, independent of everything. The notion of existence or Sat in Vaisheshika is equivalent to Brahman in Vedanta. Application of the above sutras has been found. in systems theory, in perception theory, artificial intelligence and robotics. Now, of course, the second chapter goes into the qualities of various dravyas. Rupa rasa gandha sparshavati prithvi. All the qualities exist. Rupa rasa sparshatvaj apo dravya snigdha tejo rupa sparshavan vayu te akashe na vidyante.